Welcome back, everyone. So it's time for me to unveil my next flagship. Up until this moment, my most expensive ships were my two Macarials. Well, one of these two is actually 11 billion ETH worth. Now, the current most expensive ship that I own is this Bhaalgorn. I got this ship mainly for PvP. These things are actually terrifying. They are one of the best PvP ships that you can find in the game. Blood Raiders are overall generally considered the best PvP ships because of their skill bonuses and roll bonuses, and overall their performance is very scary. Now for the Bhaalgorn, well, this is a battleship. I can tell you I absolutely love this beast. It is one of the most powerful battleships that I currently have. Now the design of this ship is also quite good. My personal favorite thing about this ship is definitely the camouflage on it. The blood on this ship is well deserved, and I personally can't wait to use this ship in a good old big fleet. Okay, now on to the trait description. The roll bonus, minus 100% energy Nosferatu overall penalty, basically means you can deplete the capacitor of any ship that you apply Nosferatus on, which is a very terrifying bonus, if I can be honest. Advanced electronic warfare bonus per level will give you plus 15% Nosferatu efficiency, plus 15% energy neutralizer strength, plus 20% status warfare optimal range. Advanced Battleship command bonus per level will give you plus 18% laser damage and plus 7.5% laser tracking speed. So basically, very similar, not to say the same bonuses as we have on all the other Blood Raider ships. This is kind of like the Ashimu, just a lot longer. Now the ship has 2 drones, 7 high slots, 5 medium slots, 5 low slots, 3 combat and 3 engineering rigs. It has a very nice cargo capacity, overall decent defense. It's mainly a armor tank, but back in the day it used to be a very good shield tank as well. A very good capacitor that can be very hard to deplete, not to say impossible to deplete. Very good recharge rate and overall other decent capacitor specs. Now the ship is very slow. It feels like a floating brick, and the scan resolution kinda low. Signature radius is also kinda big. So this is a very slow ship. It is a true battleship, and coming from a Macarial, yeah, you definitely can feel the difference between these ships. Okay, now let's play around with the Bhaalgorn a bit, and let's see how this monster works. Now I will show you the details of the build a little bit later. Currently we have a little war going on, so I want to kind of hide what exact modules I use on this ship, and just to prevent other players from countering this ship that easily. Now this is a dual armor repair fit, and I did the math. When I actually have my skills all maxed out, up and ready for actual hardcore PvP, I should be able to tank around 3.5k DPS without worrying about getting my tank broken that easily. So yeah, these ships are indeed super tanky if you build them to be super tanky. Their DPS is also quite good. I am very surprised by the default DPS on the Bhaalgorn. Now I don't have any damage mods on this ship currently installed, so the DPS is still very comparable to the Macarial one, to the Macarial's DPS. Not to say that they're the same, but they're pretty damn close. So these ships will do roughly the same damage, comparing it to my own Macarial, that is. So the bonus on Nosferatus and Web is what makes these things very lethal in PvP. I have an I have an Ashmo. I have around maybe 500 kill marks on it. Never lost it, so I have experience with Blood Raiders so far. Now, the Bhaalgorn is a little bit different from the Ashmo, mainly because it's very slow. The Ashmo can be fast, although it's slower than the other faction cruisers, but it's still fast. Now the Bhaalgorn here is quite the opposite. It is very slow and feels like a brick. It maneuvers like a brick, but that's not exactly a bad thing about this ship. It has a lot more module slots, so you can make it be a lot more lethal than the Ashmo. Triple loss currently, but I also like to use neutralizers on this. Using neutralizers on this Bhaalgorn is evil. Like, you kill capacitors so quickly with the Bhaalgorn. It's really silly. With the triple Nosferatus, I can easily have my cap be stable at 90%, 99%, around that number. So you don't have to worry about running out of capacitor while flying this behemoth over here. Speaking in terms of overall survivability on this ship, it's quite good. I thought about trying the triple armor repair setup that I saw on another ship, but I kind of decided to give this ship a little bit more resistances, you know, just to balance things out. And overall, I'm very happy with how this ship turned out. And I was also surprised to actually know that I had better skills for the Bhaalgorn than I had for my Macarial. Now you might ask, how did that happen? I have no idea, but my default skills are better for the Bhaalgorn than on the Macarial. So that kind of confused me, because I never skilled into lasers and into other things for Amar battleships, but for some reason, somehow, I subconsciously, I think I did do that. So this ship is 80% combat ready. Now, speaking, I remember someone asked me what ships would I avoid fighting. Well, I'm currently flying one of the ships that I would never tackle, because yeah, if you tackle a Bhaalgorn, you are in for a very bad day, because these things have teeth. If they manage to web you, and if they manage to nos you and neutralize your capacitor, you are, well, you're not gonna most likely survive the next minute and a half of the ship shooting at you. So very hard to tackle ships. No one wants to fight them. Usually, if you want to fight them, you need to have like 10 plus people in a fleet to jump the ship, and even in that fleet of 10 plus pilots, at least 5 of them might lose their ships against one Bhaalgorn. So you really have to be careful if you plan to attack these monsters, because shooting down a Macarial is actually easy. I've done that. We've done that a lot of times before. Now, shooting other faction battleships, like the Nightmare, can be difficult. Nightmares are incredibly tanky. You have to kill their capacitor if you want them to go down faster. Macarials go down very easy. Vindicators also can go down very easily. The Barghest, that will be coming out very soon, also can be shot down very easily. Now the Bhaalgorn, well, they are different. These things are different, so they are not going down that fast. And I think I missed one faction or 2 faction battleships. The Rattlesnake, we've tackled a lot of those. They're also going down quite easily. Nestor is mostly a gunboat that is good for support. It's like a faction battleship logistics, so these ships can also be very tanky, and they're very useful for large-scale battles and fleets. can't wait to actually fly an Astor. That's one of the next ships that I'll be getting. Now back to the good old Bhaalgorn over here. Well, you can definitely see what type of weapons I use. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the best balance that I can find. It works pretty good so far. I'm not complaining about the DPS. The DPS is actually pretty awesome. The alpha damage is also pretty awesome. Cap stability, I've covered that before, it's super stable. And running storylines with this, I think is actually a legit way to do missions after the scanning update. Because no frigate pilot that knows what they're doing will tackle a Bhaalgorn. Mostly because the capacitor of a frigate will be depleted in like 1.5 cycle of a large Nosferatu. A neutralizer just kills the capacitor of frigates, even cruisers. So very hard to tackle ships. Now I'll also be showing you the rigs on my Bhaalgorn after some time, after the current conflict that's going on is finished up. After we win, that is. Need this ship as well. I need it because no one wants to fight it, and it's actually pretty good at winning fights without losing any ships on your team. Good psychological warfare because no one wants to get neutralized by one of these monsters here. Kind of funny how that works, because it even works on me. I refuse to fight a Bhaalgorn if I need to risk my ship, or if we have like less than 10 players in our fleet. Now the armor repairers here are doing an amazing job. Like I said, I need to improve some skills in order to even improve the armor rep times. But currently I almost can tank 2 fully fledged battleships that are built for DPS. Almost can tank 2 of the battleships, and both of them have like over 1.5k DPS. So after I finish with my armor skills, yeah, this thing will be incredibly tanky, and will most likely be the tankiest ship that I own. Well, first I thought that I might have problems tracking targets with one web. That doesn't seem to be the case. So far, haven't had a problem to track frigates, easily hitting even frigates that are very close. As for the other builds that I have in mind, I planned on a dual web build with 1 NOS and 1 neutralizer. That will also work quite well. Might also switch to 1 NOS and dual neutralizers. That will be very evil because, yeah, that's literally burning down 3k capacitor per cycle. That's a lot of cap being gone from only 1 ship. While my capacitor will be pretty much stable, and I will not have to worry about running out of that for quite a bit of time. Now, one thing that I'm still kind of debating is, should I switch for a afterburner or should I keep a micro warp drive? Now, this ship is ridiculously slow. It's one of the slowest battleships that I've ever flown, actually. It's, like I said before, a floating brick. So might switch to a afterburner. I'll receive 25% more capacitor with the afterburner, because the micro warp drive actually reduces your capacitor a little bit, which will of course improve the cap runtime even more. It's already infinite, but yeah, would still be good to have your capacitor even more stable than it is currently. As for the drones, when I bought the ship, it came with a full cargo hold of drones, large drones. So I have those in the drone bay. Using medium drones just because I have better skills for the medium drones, and they are good at shooting down smaller targets. Overall, a very robust, very lethal, very scary ship that will be fun to fly, and I'll be rolling this in PvP. You will see a lot of fighting going on in the next couple days. Another fun fact, this ship actually feels like, well, kind of hard to compare it 100% to the Ashimu. The Ashimu is also a terrifying ship because, well, it's a cruiser that can fit large Nosferatus, and those kill pretty much any other ship in the game. A Vigilant has a chance to beat a Ashimu 1v1 because the Vigi has a longer point range, it's faster, and it can have 40 plus kilometer range with the railguns. So yeah, a Vigilant can beat an Ashimu. Now, here with the battleships, the Bhaalgorn can just simply outlast any other battleship in the game currently, because of the Nosferatus and because of the incredible tank that these ships have. So 1v1, 1v5, this ship has pretty good chances of survival, and not quite sure if I had a chance to test that out. I tested out the tank. I think that's the only thing that I tested out at the moment. Currently just improving the skills on this ship. Now I had a couple funny encounters in LoL, and well, I can confirm that not many players really want to fight with an Ashimu, or not with an Ashimu, but with the Bhaalgorn. Well, if they don't want to fight with an Ashimu as well, but the Bhaalgorn is just Ashimu on steroids, I can call it. I think that's a pretty good description of the Bhaalgorn. Now, not quite sure how the frigate is working. I have one somewhere. I bought it. I planned on playing it. I just never had the time to actually jump in the crew and have fun with it. But I will. Flown the Ashimu, flying the Bhaalgorn as my primary flagship, and I'll be jumping in my crew at one point. Very curious to see how that little frigate works. So far, I think with the Bhaalgorn, with a couple Bhaalgorns in our fleet currently, I think we have a couple Bhaalgorns actually. We should be a very lethal force. So we will see how things are working out. Might be mistaken, but we have like 3 or 4 Bhaalgorns in our corp only. If we count Bhaalgorns only, we also have like Macarials and other things like that. So we do have a very nice force of ships lined up, and my Bhaalgorn joined the fun. Now, comparing the Bhaalgorn to the Macarial, you will definitely feel the difference between these two ships regarding their speed. That's like the biggest difference. A Bhaalgorn versus a Macarial, if they were to be fighting one really fast, even if they are a battleship, they will melt down very fast, because the Bhaalgorn has very nasty DPS. I expected to have around maybe 900, 800 DPS with the Bhaalgorn. Well, I got surprised when I saw the numbers. I got pleasantly surprised when I saw the numbers, because yeah, a terrifying ship that I do not want to end up on its path, if I were to be honest. I personally found a lot of Bhaalgorns doing storyline missions, and I thought about jumping in and just shooting them for some time. Well, I didn't, because I know if I were to do that, I would be dead. The Nosferatus and neutralizers have an effect on you, even at 35-40 kilometers. So even if you think that you're safe from these ships, you will be surprised at seeing the capacitor just diminish to 0. but you can counter them if you have a decent fleet, and of course if you maintain range. In the end, I personally think the best counter to the Bhaalgorn and to the other Blood Raider faction ships is to stay away from them, or to jump them with a big fleet. Because if you try to get them 1v1, it's most likely not gonna end up well. And because these things are just very lethal in their own way. Now I'll be flying the Windy, I'll be flying the Nestor, I'll be flying all faction battleships and all faction ships in the game in time. This ship did make a hit on my wallet, as you can see, but it wasn't that expensive actually. I should be back up at my old value in maybe a week or two. Depends how much I spend up fighting with our enemies and how much time I spend actually grinding ISK. But I'll recover my wallet pretty fast. Definitely a amazing ship. If you are thinking to get a Bhaalgorn for PvP, I can say go and buy one. It's a terrifying ship, and not many players will want to actually fight this. It's recommended to stay away from these ships because they will destroy you very fast. Alright, well, that was a quick little introduction to the Bhaalgorn. You can expect PvP only content with the Bhaalgorn very soon. And with that being said, hope you enjoyed, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.